All right, financial students, here it is, preparing a budget sheet, chapter 3, lesson 2. Our lesson objective is use records of past expenditures, that's what we spend, expenditures, to prepare a monthly budget sheet. It's important to know where your money is going so that you can spend it on the things you need and it is there when you need it. Our buddy David is not sure where all of his money goes. David's friend suggests that he makes a monthly budget. Typically, what we pay on housing is about 30%, groceries in the 20s. Our car is closer to 30s if you include the gas. Utilities for our living expenses, almost 10%. And David spends almost 10% eating out. So it's always good to know where your money is going so that when you need it, either for emergencies or if you want to save for future events, say your car needs some repairs or you have a plumbing leak or you want to go on a vacation, it's important to be able to put money away for those important things. You can use records of your past expenditures to prepare a budget sheet outlining your total monthly expenses. You'll want to calculate your living expenses. These include amounts for food, utility bills, and pocket money. Utility bills mean the things that keep your household operational, like water and electricity, and if you have natural gas or up here where we live we have propane, that would be a utility bill. Phone used to be considered a utility bill, but phone and internet. And pocket money. They will vary from month to month. Other expenses such as rent are more fixed. These are called fixed expenses because they do not vary from one month to the next. So if there are things that you can count on, such as a mortgage or a rent payment, a car payment, usually if you don't do anything extra, your cable and phone bills can be a fixed amount. Also remember to consider any annual expenses, such as real estate taxes, which occur only once a year. As students, there are things that you guys encounter that occur once a year. As you guys go off to college, your tuition will be a twice or three times a year expense. The real estate taxes are once a year. Some insurance payments are an annual expense. So you have to consider the stuff that you do once a year, divvy it up, and so that you can plan for it every month, because it's not like we get paid once a year. We do get paid and usually plan accordingly for every month. So our total monthly expenses are monthly living expenses, which is our utilities, again, living expenses, food, utility, pocket money, fixed expenses, which are ones that don't change but you pay every month, and monthly share of annual expenses, which requires us to do a little calculation, take all our annual expenses and divide by 12 so we know how much to plan for every month. For example, the Millers used the records of past expenditures to complete the budget sheet in figure 3.2. That's this guy right here, actually. Here it is. After calculating their monthly share of annual expenses, find their total monthly expenses. So you find the monthly share of annual expenses. It's $3,759. All right, I pulled the chart, figure 3.2, and pasted it down here. But just to look at their annual expenses, when you add life insurance, home renter's insurance, car insurance, real estate property taxes, car registration, and charitable contributions, after you add all those annual expenses together, this is the one time a year, we get $3,759. But we want to be able to budget it for each month. So we divide that amount by 12 and we get $313.25. So now we're going to add that to our monthly expenses, and just so that you know that these numbers aren't floating out of everywhere. Our monthly living expenses are, when you add up all of our monthly expenses, you get $1,089. When you take our fixed expenses, our mortgage, car loan, and savings, and you add them together, you get $1,078. And then you take our annual expenses divided by 12, so just for that month, and you add them all together. So in total, our expenses are $2,480.25. So we're going to do those same calculations, but they are actually just given to us in a little bit better, easier to see format. It's important to note that monthly living, all these items here on the left are monthly living expenses. They can vary from month to month depending upon what you got going on. The fixed are the same every month. Annual expenses, we add and divide by 12, and then to finish our budget sheet, we add them together and subtract out what we make. Okay, so we're going to calculate the monthly share of annual expenses and find the total monthly expenses. So we're going to take our annual, we're going to divide it by 12. Go ahead and pull up Mr. Calculator to do that. So that for us is $350. And we're going to add it to our living and our fixed expenses. So plus 670 plus 800. And our total budget is $1,820. So we're going to need $1,820 to pay our bills for the month. As we go through these calculations, the takeaway should be you need to be earning enough money to pay for those bills. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for number 2. We're going to take our annual expenses and divide by 12. Okay, so we just put that in our calculator. So 3494.04 divided by 12. We get 291.17. And we're going to add that to the living and the fixed expenses. So plus 475.75 plus 679.65, and our total monthly expenses are equal to $1,446.57. All right, your job now is to go complete the lesson practice. Make sure you check your work and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much.